that. Hey, what's going on, Dougie? Sorry, I'm trying to keep this thing Braves next. Sorry, I tried to fix the stream and then it did all thing. Yes, it is nice. Well, they're expensive when they're larger. The reason they're kind of expensive is they're not very fast growing, and they require more room to field grow. So by nature, they're going to be more expensive. Bigger palms in general, just get bigger, slower palms are going to be more expensive than faster, skinnier palms. Bronzing. Where are you located, Dougie? Well, you can tell me county or area, so I know where it's happening. Central. Okay, yeah, that's pretty typical in most of Central Florida. I don't see it much where I am. I see a little bit in Sarasota, but not like Lakeland. Okay, so Polk County's pretty much in the center of that whole area. You're looking at Hillsborough, Manatee, Polk, Lake, Pasco. It's mostly West Central Florida it's happening in, and north. Like Hernando, Alachua, Marion. Oh, God. Sometimes that really dries your mouth out. I tried to pawn this car off of my sister so I could justify buying that other car. She's like, the windows don't even roll down. I'm like, well, who rolls down their windows in Florida unless their AC doesn't work? Oh, they were yours. I'm sorry to hear that. I have the Toyota. I'm driving it right now. I mean, my Camry I have two Toyotas. I have an Avalon and a Camry. I'm driving the old Avalon now. This thing was made before you were born, my friend. Oh, the Camry, I just didn't drive it this time because it's a lease and because this is 110 miles round trip. So I just didn't feel like I needed to throw in unnecessary miles on it. I counted on drive this thing, visit family, the Avalon. But when I'm going somewhere like, I don't know, where I need to be driving a new car, I'll drive that. Or just going out for a pleasure run. You'll see it when I pull in the driveway. I'm trying to get this thing properly centered. The cash purchase, man, that's not cheap. I'm not very well versed on tractor trailers, but I know that's in the six-figure range, most likely. Pay cash? That's weird because they usually give really good financing options. But your dad may not be a finance guy. I don't really like financing things. Yeah, I'm guessing it's like 140, 150,000. I mean, there's so many things like, engine options, bed options. Does it have a sleeper in it? This guy going in the other lane or just kind of checking it out for a little bit? Nice. Yeah, that's definitely gonna. Adding a sleeper probably adds like 15, 20,000 to the price. I'm just guessing, but I've never looked at buying a tractor trailer. I don't have a CDL. I'm sure I could drive one, but I'm not, experienced in driving. I can drive just about anything else. I can drive a motorcycle, a boat, manual or automatic car, trucks, box trucks, diesel trucks, all the way up to the weight limit for this 26,000 gross volume weight. So if it has the capacity to weigh over 26,000 pounds, I can't drive it. I wish I had that problem. It is long hours. I mean, but some people enjoy that. I used to love driving long hours on the road. When I was 16, I'd drive from New York to Virginia to go almost every weekend to visit my friends in Virginia. One time I even drove there and back in the same. It's like an 8.5 hour drive. I drove there and back in the same night. I actually got there, turned back around. I drove there and then back, and then I slept and then I drove back to Virginia. So like round trip and a half. There's actually a story where I drove down with a friend of mine from New York, and he wasn't getting along with my friends from Virginia, and I decided to drive back and try to make it easier. And I can't believe I drove all the way back just to go back for a few days. I just didn't care back then. Oh, nice. Sounds like you had the opportunity to build quite a nursery there if you wanted to. I might have messed up the viewers coming on because of this is my 4th attempt at a stream, so. Yeah, the problem is you might have invited him to the first or second stream, but I had to reset it 3 times. Technically, well, the 4th time was a charm. Yeah. Dodge Avenger. The worst decision Chrysler made in the past 10 years, and that's saying a lot. 15 years, I should say. Okay. There's this, I don't know, there's a Twitter RAV4 behind me that seems to be quite the aggressive driver considering the vehicle, so. Oh yeah, you asked that on my on the one video, Super Cool Bros. 7-gallon coconut is usually going to be about maybe 5, 6 inches in width, and it's going to generally be, depending on the type, about 5 to 6 feet tall planted height. I mean, a really overgrown one can be more. Maybe I'll make this light. We're actually not getting food tonight, so I'll be a little bit shorter than normal. Go, baby, go. Woke you up? I'm headed back down to Cape Coral. What zones? Well, Mediterranean zones can be in a bunch of climates. You can have different types of you have dry Mediterranean, almost like a subtropical Mediterranean. So, for example, San Francisco is kind of on the cusp of a Mediterranean climate where it can have warmer summers, like right just a little bit inland is basically a Mediterranean climate, but right on the coast it really isn't. It's more of a cool oceanic or maritime climate. It can be anywhere from basically zone 8 and up. You can have basically a tropical Mediterranean climate. Well, Mediterranean mostly has cool winters, so it's mostly through zones 8 through 10 are mostly Mediterranean. So you're looking at like Southern California, for example, like LA, San Diego, Santa Barbara, parts of like the Central Valley of California, and they kind of get into more of the semi-arid regions, but some areas of the Central Valley. Mediterranean climates are also going to be in areas like, Mediterranean, like Spain, the obvious parts there. And then in Australia, like Sydney, probably class, well, it's more humid subtropical. Adelaide and Perth are more Mediterranean. They don't get as much rain, as far as I remember. Mercury and Daniel, if they're come on here, they can tell you, they can verify that. I don't care if you do that. I think when there's two channels that are similar, I think they both grow well together. Simon, are people concerned in the UK about the coronavirus? I'm just curious. O'Donnell to be closed. Seek alternate route. Oh, your dad. Yeah, you could call it that too. Simon has some great options there. This is a tasty vape. I'm sorry. The rubber gloves and gel. Sounds like a fun Saturday night to me. Maybe an ultrasound. Okay. Yeah, Cocothronics don't like indoors. They get spider mites very easily, and when that low humidity settles in, they're just not a fan. They tend to have an inability to deal with low humidity, like many stuff like tricky carpets can deal with. No ability to deal with high humidity. What would I do if someone said eat my food, then gave you the food and ran away? I wouldn't eat it. I'm a slight germaphobe. If I haven't seen where it came from or anything, then I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna eat it. Alright guys, sorry. Yeah, that's why I don't like getting stuck with that light. There's no reception right there. Sorry about that. There's really nothing I can do about it. If there's no reception, I can't make reception where there isn't any. Wish I could. Sometimes when I'm stuck at a light like this, I'm wondering which car will accelerate the fastest off the line. Usually people in vans want to get going home. Come on, people. They're going 35 miles an hour. That is not the speed limit. It's not acceptable. Unacceptable. There's a cop over there, so it's just... That guy has light, not even his brake lights. Maybe, palmettos are very hard to kill. So let's see. I'll tell you guys what's going on here. I'm kind of curious. Looks like there's someone pulled over, but they are parked in where you would turn left on the other side of the road. So I'm kind of curious if they're having car problems. But anyway, coconuts probably won't ever get invasive. Coconuts are really an invasive species. Well, the reason is they can't get invasive off the coast because the nuts are too big. Like no animal can carry it. Only people can. So if it's only going to get invasive. Jesus, how bright are those lights? I've got an auto dimming mirror and it's still. Anyway. Yeah, I figured that happened. Sorry, it froze for me too. I kept on saying reconnecting, and I'm sitting there at a red light, and I know it's not going to reconnect there. So what? See, now we're getting bad light mojo here. Sync your lights, Port Charlotte. I don't know. I'm sure. I think the thing is, you just kind of have to get more people to know about it, and then people will talk about it. You still got plenty of time. No, there'll never be a coconut invasion off the coast. I mean, you could have like thousands of coconuts washing up on the shores of Florida, and if it's warm enough, they'll germinate. But Florida's so populated that they'll probably just dig them up, and coconuts, they don't really take over their habitat. They're not. I mean, they will anchor in, but they don't like take over native habitats. Like they won't take over mangroves or that sort of thing. Some of them they really could take over is like wetland areas, but coconuts don't like swampy areas. They grow where water can like wash over them, but not settle, like not sit in water. They don't like that. That's why they like sand, because sand drains well for the most part. Sand can also not drain well depending on what else is in that soil. Come on, I've got another red light. I was getting better lights at rush hour. Oh, I need to go to a gas station. I'm gonna wait till Cape Coral though, so I get the maximum. What is some in here in my wallet? My Wawa card got I had to get it replaced because I guess there was a data breach in Wawa. Oh, I have it with me. Cool. All right. Yeah, you talk to a lot of Czech people. Was Simon, always the cheeky one. That's why I always like it when you're on here, Simon. You know, Simon, there's one thing I never told you. The gift card that you gave me, I'm only able to use it on the UK website and on the UK Amazon, and then no one will ship to me. Or if they will, it'll be like $30 for shipping. Ooh, look at this little Cayman going off. 4 mags, is that what it says? Does it say? I don't know, that Porsche just doesn't interest me. Okay, it's your younger cousins. Yeah, I don't know two birth languages, I can tell you that. Wow, a lot of Czech music. I know they're real innovators in the music genres. There's a really good documentary about it's called like The Guide to the Balkans. It was done by Vice News, and it shows they call it turbo pop or something. It's more popular in like Croatia and Serbia. What was it called? Turbo something. Turbo folk? Maybe that's what it was. Turbo folk music. You have a 20-foot Jubea? Super cool, bros. Oh no, you don't. I'm not asking for anything to change, Simon. I'll figure out something that I can use it for. I haven't touched on it because I just didn't know what to do with it. And I didn't want to be like, if you could, if you want to use it for whatever. I was gonna message you privately. I know I'll forget if I don't say it now. So don't worry about it. I'm not asking for more. I'm asking for another gift card or something. It's a thought that counts at the very least. In South Texas, because they're proven to be cold hardy, and they're also, because a lot of South Texas is semi-arid, like San Antonio and Brownsville are right on the edge of subtropical to semi-arid. So they kind of, Washingtonians do well, and Robusta does well in both climates. Just like there's a lot in Florida. I mean, even though they don't really, we could do without Washingtonians here. It really isn't a need for them, at least south of I-4. There's so many other options. I can't believe that place Chubby's is still in business. Not only it's a disgusting place, but they're all a bunch of a-holes there. Oh, Subaru Baja. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Get me one of those. Falso washies. Yeah, it's cool to see the flippers. I think flippers are much, more interesting because they're like more statuesque. Okay, that sounds. I've got plenty left. They last, like, their shelf life is like 2 years. So for me, they're fresh for the first I consider them fresh for the first 6 months. They're the coating they have on them doesn't even really come off until it gets real hot out here. So. Oh, motherfucker! Check yourself, fool. I'm not getting sideswiped by a full-size Chevy. Jesus Christ. I wonder if I got like a special horn for this car, what I would make it. What it would have to be something that would be like typical for a Toyota, like a Japanese song, or maybe it'll say, "I love what you do for me, Toyota." You can see just how big that thing's gonna be. I don't even want to know how much those cranes are. I'm guessing they're probably $1.5 million each, something like that. Just sad, like I've mentioned so many times before, but so I must have bought it all. And my mom had an apartment in Sarasota. I don't know if you guys ever saw it in any of the videos. I did the video I did on the Salem Palmetto was right behind my mom's apartment in a pond, and I've lived in apartments both in college and in Miami, and then I stayed with my mom for a few months in Sarasota. And I can't live in a box with other people making sounds in their box upstairs. And sorry, guys. I didn't see all this. My apologies. I might have to go from the front and back. So, zone 14. Yeah, that would be quite a painful place to live. 130. I don't know if Laredo's ever got up to 120. I know they got up to 110. Yeah. Though I imagine there's gonna be a lot of coconuts there. You would think that that's what they would plant, but I swear, I don't put it beyond them to just plant a bunch of Washingtonias. There's a Starbucks here? That is news to me. Anthony's Ladies Apparel. Why is a place that has ladies apparel named after a man? I guess there's a lot of male designers that, not that that really matters, but. Carry on, mates. Let's go. Sorry. The most common palm planted in the whole world is probably going to be one of three things. Washington. It's not Sable Palmetto. It's going to be Washingtonia, Queen Palm, possibly Dipsalis lutescens, Eureka Palm. Oh, I know Czech has their own version of a lot of different genres. I was just messing with you. Sorry. It depends on where you are. In the whole world, that's probably true. But here, I'd say the most common palm planted is going to be Royals, Washingtonias, Pygmy Dates, and Queens. Even though they probably should get moved out. There's see all the Royals here. Washingtonias on the right-hand side. I didn't see the. I only use YouTube and Prime Video and Netflix. I don't actually. I'm not. Oh, we are not waiting for that light. Yeah, the problem is they're overused, and if they don't get fertilized properly, they look like crap. I think it's great to see them in habitat, see them well grown. They're often not well grown. So here's a good question. How many miles do you think I've put on this car since I bought it? I bought it November 8th of last year. So it's been 3.5 months essentially, maybe a little bit more, just over 3.5 months. No, there's no red light camera. I didn't run that red light anyway, but yeah, there's no red light cameras in this area. Hey, Civic guy. I forget, you told me your name. I just forget sometimes. I need to remember. I think I told you I'd forget too. But I walked 500,000 miles. No, I probably couldn't do that in a lifetime. Probably didn't even go a tenth of that in a lifetime. Matthew, that's it. So yeah, if you guys guess how many miles I put on this car, 580. No, I'll tell you, it's definitely more than that. I bought this car with 151,950 miles on it. So let's just say 152, right? Remember that I would use this for DoorDash, and sometimes I drive over 100 miles in a night just around town. 4 miles. That's going to be more than that. What is going on? These people are just turning left from the straight lane. Just go into the left turn lane. So, this is only a few of us guessing. The car now has 158,459 miles on it, so I've driven it 6,500 miles. And that's just this car. That doesn't include Ashley's car, which I'll probably driven like 500 to 1,000 miles in. And then the Camry has 1,000 miles on it, or almost has 800 miles on it. So in Mexico, Arizona, you're looking at Washingtonians for sure. Mexico is going to be kind of, a little bit cooler. I've seen Washingtonian Flifford as well in like Las Cruces, that area, like southeastern Mexico near El Paso. If you're up near Santa Fe or Albuquerque, you're looking at probably just Drakeys and maybe some European fans and Needles. Arizona, it depends all about where you are in Arizona. If you're in Phoenix, I know people who grow Royals in Phoenix. They actually handle the high heat pretty well. Tucson is going to be more like, you'll probably get away with Queens, or more Washingtonians, Desert Palms, European fans. Yeah, and a lot of date palms too, obviously. Yeah, sorry. Tucson. So yeah, Tucson's a little bit cooler than Phoenix. I've been to both Phoenix and Tucson, but I mean not for a long enough period of time to tell the difference. There are a lot of dates in Phoenix and Tucson. But the last time I was in Tucson was 1993 or 94. Maybe it was 93. I'm just trying to think of. Yeah, I think it was 94. That guy riding a bike on that road, that is a bad idea. Yeah, just Tucson, because Phoenix sits at around like 1,500 feet elevation or something like that, or 1,200 feet, and Tucson's actually around like 2,000 feet. So that extra elevation actually affects. It also, Phoenix is technically closer to like bodies of water, like the Gulf of California. Now in Yuma, you could probably get away with a few more things. Yuma is really, besides the only place outside of California and Florida that really has a true Zone 10 climate. I mean, maybe like extreme South Texas. Date palms do okay in New Mexico. I don't think so. Maybe in some of the warmest areas you get away with some of the, like some dactyliferas. I don't think Canariensis is going to grow well there. It can get pretty cold there. Really, I hit this light of all lights. Give me a break. Not even gonna stop. Oh, break a little bit. See how far Naples is from here. 53 miles to Naples, 17 to Fort Myers. Yeah, old Jubaeas are quite huge. You know, I've never seen a Jubea with trunk in person. It's a sad thing to say. There aren't any in England, Simon. I know there's some in France. They're not very big, but they do have trunk. Like in northern France, like in Brittany. Some were planted in the 19th century, and they only have like 5 feet of trunk. Yeah, I like the vastness of Arizona. I like the fact you can just drive off the road into the dirt if you wanted to. You drive off the road, you're going to hit nothing but palmetto, soft palmetto, and pine trees. Ashley made it's Taco Tuesday, so. Oh, you know what? Oh no, it doesn't matter though. I was gonna get. See, I don't like flour tortillas because I don't feel like they are authentic. So I was gonna get corn tortillas, but I'm just going to get. I'm gonna use some chips I have. Flying down the road. Well, not flying. Car just cruises at 70. Sorry, guys. So the most colorful palms are going to be palms that have a colored crown shaft. That's a good question, Dylan. And I'll get and they also have emerging new leaves. So there's the ones that come to mind are like Penangas. There's like Penanga veitchii, if you want to look it up. It's like Vicia, but V with 2 I's instead of an IA. Yeah, I saw that. I don't want to kill the video for that, but I will check it out, Zach. There's Penanga maculata. There's a lot of. It looks almost like stained glass when they open their new leaves. Plus, they have a colorful crown shaft. Now, the New World, one of the coolest palms I think that grows in the New World is called Geonoma undata. It won't grow here, but it's more of a tropical understory palm, and they call it the stained glass window palm. And it has the coolest modeling. It's red and it fades to like almost like a whitish gray with like green spots on it, and then it fades to a normal color. But I wish I could do a vlog on it because it's just absolutely amazing. But yeah, a lot of palms have, new colored leaves and colored crown shafts. Uh, yeah, something like that. Yeah, Kuna Matata. We are going to Wawa, but I'm just getting gas. Sorry to let you guys down. Does it taste good? I just usually don't drink that just because it's like high in sugar. And last time I got blood work done, I was like, my blood sugar levels were high. I don't have a family history of diabetes, and I don't really want to start one either. Hey, man. Welcome back. No, I like sugar. I like sweet things, but like your blood sugar, for example, must be under 100, and over 125 is considered diabetic. Mine was at 112, so I was halfway there. How is it? Okay. It's going to be pronounced Nanitol. It's the proper way to pronounce that. You'll probably pronounce it terrible. I mean, I feel like I should do a vlog just on pronouncing palm names because people pronounce them wrong. I even pronounce a few wrong, but I know it. But it's the common way. Like sable is supposed to be pronounced sabal in Latin, and butia should be butia. But people have called it that for ages, so I'm not going to change that. There are pink and orange crown shafted palms. Like pink ones would be like Areca macrocalyx, and a good orange one is Dipsis pilulifera, or it's called Dipsis species orange crush, because it looks like an orange crush can. It's the most like neon orange you can basically get in a palm. Yeah, exactly. And I turned 30 in 2011, so now you guys know how ancient I am. Looks like a cop, and it is a cop. God damn it! Oh no, I wasn't going too fast. Fucking cops rolling in on me. I'm just gonna pace him. It's an undercover cop, that's for sure. But I mean, you can see those lights. I mean, he has regular plates on. I saw those Explorer lights, and I saw the red and blues up top, right underneath the top of the lift gate. I thought I actually was doing 70 to 55, but I was doing 70 to 65. So I'm good. I don't think this guy to my left knows that this is a cop, so it's very interesting. Are you gonna pass him, or are you just gonna sit there? Sorry, guys. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have noticed. The Lord's hearing me. When I first there at one point around 2018, I weighed just about 240. I'm down to about 212 now. So, and I've been eating better, like mostly salads, but I was just eating like decadent Thai food, and just why is this cop? He must be on his computer. He's swerving more than the fucking drunk person is. Can't trust these guys. See that? be hilarious to like call the police and be like, yeah, there's like a guy swerving around, looks like he's drunk, give him the plate number. I'm like, oh, and they realize that it's actually a cop. I don't dislike cops, but I don't like when they don't lead by example. If a cop is cutting people off, swerving, it doesn't really mean that other people are going to do it. I wish I had like a video where I could do car stuff. Yeah, Purpurea has a purple crown shaft. I tried to find a good example of it. The problem is there aren't many good examples of Purpurea in Florida because they don't like our high heat and humidity in the summer. They actually do better in California, which is weird because they kind of grow in like a highland subtropical climate, which actually kind of makes sense why they don't do well in Florida. Let me see it. Hey Zach, I can still see those. I can see what Simon said. I don't know, we'll see how Zach behaves. We might have seen some Purpurea. I'm not sure. We saw Kentia, we saw a Satakentia. Zach, if you put users in an unnecessary timeout, I'll put you in a timeout. Hey Eric, what's up? So we're gonna use my Wawa card again for the first time. I got a brand new one, thanks to a data breach. Three other states, I can name them right now. Be Louisiana, probably Georgia, and either South Carolina or North Carolina. I have the ultimate timeout power. I can make it go forever timeout if I want to. There's a Rica Vestiaria, and it comes in many varieties. You can get one that has just it's normally a red crown shafted palm. The most common form is reddish, kind of like a lipstick color. It's kind of like known as like the poor man's lipstick or cold hardy lipstick, even though it's not cold hardy. I mean, it's not very cold hardy. And you can get it with a green emergent leaf. You can get it with a yellow crown shaft, an orange crown shaft, a red crown shaft, and then a red crown shaft with a red emergent leaf. I've never seen an orange or yellow with a color emergent leaf, but you can also get there. I also had a Certostachys, a lipstick palm with a yellow crown shaft, but I sold it before it got any bigger, and I probably should never have sold it because I've never seen another one. Favorite type of coconut? It's hard to say. I mean, I like the dwarf varieties. The Fiji dwarf is a cool looking palm. I think the talls I like the talls when they're really tall. I don't like them when they're like 10 feet tall. They actually take up a lot of room. No, I know, I'm messing around, Zach. You do a great job. Luckily, we haven't had much like trolls or anything come in here. It really isn't the type of stream to troll because like no one really cares, Like we're not really talking about anything. It's more of an educational channel, if anything. Obviously, we talk about many other topics, but yeah, I think James and Bobby are in the hot tub. I don't know. Maybe the wife is around. Maybe she's not. But there's two things that are for sure. There's definitely Bud Light, and there's definitely Washingtonia's involved. I didn't think that Canadians drank Bud Light. I thought they thought it was like, it was equivalent of like Americans drinking Molson, which really isn't a popular beer anymore, at least in America. It was popular when Molson made Triple X, which was back in the 90s. They had laws against the alcohol percentage of beer. It couldn't be over 7%. Like ice beer was like the most it could be was like 5 point, maybe 6%. And I went to Canada to drink Molson Triple X, which was like 7.3, which was like a big deal for like American beers are naturally kind of weak. So, if you go to Netherlands or Belgium, you can get beer that's 10, 11%. And most British, like I'm sure Simon's like, what the hell, 7%? Like we have 10%, 8, 9% beers. But Bud Light is like, it's American, and I respect that, but it doesn't have any like, it's just meant to get you drunk. It's not like people are like, oh well, I want to taste that Bud Light. It's not like Newcastle. It's not like Guinness. It's not. Pilsner Urquell is pretty good, especially it's probably the most common Pilsner there is. I used to drink actually a decent amount of Pilsner Urquell. That is probably the most famous Czech beer. You drink Asian beer like Tsingtao, which is actually Chinese, and there's also what's the name of that Thai beer? Singha, that's the Thai beer. The only beer that I've noticed that really doesn't taste like Bud Light, that's from Asia, is Kirin Ichiban. Actually has somewhat of a distinct flavor to it, but it's basically like Japanese Budweiser. Budweiser has such a classic mixture of ingredients that it's pretty typical. Polish beer, lovely. Anything? Yeah, I mean, I don't want my beer to have like 12% alcohol, but I wanted to have some flavor. Like I like down here, there's a brewing company in Tampa called Cigar City, and they make one called Highlights. It's an IPA. It's pretty bitter, but it's good. First time I ever drank it, I was at some bar. I was with a girl I met, and I walked out of the bar. I'm like, wow, I am fucking drunk. So I had to drive home, but I didn't. So I slept in the car till like 5 in the morning. Pretty uncomfortable. I had my Hyundai Veloster then. Woke up, I was like, where am I? What am I doing? Like, what? How did this happen to me? 'Cause I used to have pretty savage or alcohol tolerance just from college. Work well? Okay. Everybody that I've known that ever drank it called it Urquell, so that's the English. I'm sure in Czech it's pronounced differently. I believe you though. Washingtonia is not a very varieties like color like that tend to happen more in tropical palms than they do in subtropical palms. I think the color variation is really just going to be, when it's something that usually happens in more understory plants. Come on, let's go. The light is green. Step on the gas and fucking turn the wheel. Jesus. Sorry, guys. Some people just. What is this guy doing behind me? Oh, all right. So there's Pollo, and I'm not even gonna go. Not even gonna go. We are going to Wawa, and I have food at the house. Ashley made tacos. I didn't eat it last week. If I don't eat it this week, she's gonna be like, "WTF, mate?" Or even worse, she'll be like, "You what, mate?" You know what I mean? All right, this looks like the better place. I hate people why don't people pull up at the gas pump? Pull up to the next spot. That is a piece of shit. I'm sorry. All right, guys, I'm just gonna start pumping gas. I'll be right back. That's annoying. Okay, the sale's gonna cancel out. I had to walk around the car because the gas pump was like... Oh, I forgot to bring my mom some paperwork. Oh well. So my Wawa card didn't work. It said contact issue. I don't understand that. I mean, I need to call them and activate it, but I thought it was good to go. Not that you guys really care that much. I wouldn't blame you for not caring. Yeah, they're building another Wawa a half a mile from, or a mile from the house. So we might go to a different Wawa in the future. They tore down a fire station for it. I don't know why, but all right. I don't think that Simon's drank a lot of Czech beers. They got a lot of British beers that are good. I mean, Newcastle has a distinct flavor I like about it, that amber. Oh, come on, dude, don't do that. I guess it wasn't as bad of a deal as I thought. Okay, let's get out of here. They're not playing any music up on there. They usually have music playing. Oh, there's a serious, some good trolling going on here. I would do some more traveling around, but I reset my trip odometer. What kind of gas mileage do you guys think I get in this car? I drive mostly city, so just like imagine, like, you know, 95% city driving. Oh, I mean, you saw that. Wilson was driving 40 miles per gallon. No, God, the Camry doesn't even get close to that. A new Corolla will get gas mileage like that on the highway, but we're held to not as good of a standard as in Britain. Do you in Britain, do they calculate miles per gallon, or do they do it by like liters per 100 miles? Is it the same way? Is it MPG the same way? I don't know, because you guys use miles, but come on. Would I ever go? I'm going 7 miles an hour right now. 29. Now this thing's actually rated at 21 in the city, 29 in the highway. I usually average like 21.5, which is fine for a 20-year-old car with 158,000 miles. So, oh, are we getting the light? The worst interstate in Florida to drive in? That's a good question. I-4 is known to be the worst. I don't know if it actually is, because there's some... I mean, it probably is. I'm not going to lie. Even though it's not even interstate, it only goes from Daytona Beach to Tampa. But I think that most of the highways in Miami are pretty crappy. The Dolphin Expressway is always backed up. But I-4 in general just really sucks because, especially around Orlando, you can't determine when things are going to be, like when Disney gets out, that sort of thing. So there's too many cops for me to go fast. I'm in the wrong car. This car wasn't meant for... I mean, I've gone... Come on. I've probably done 100 in this car before, but you realize this car is 21, 22 years old with, you know, over 150,000 miles. It's not really meant for high-speed driving. This is kind of my cruising car. I don't notice a lot of... The horn barely works, man. I don't... Certain hurricanes, you'll see that happen, like Irma. You could definitely see people leaving, but most hurricanes, unless it's going to be like a major, like a landfall nearby, and it's a major hurricane, you won't see a whole lot of difference. So, in Irma, everyone took that extremely seriously. Like, I mean, you could get food and everything. It was kind of a pain. I didn't wait in any long lines, but sometimes they're just like. Gas was the biggest pain because sometimes you had to check apps to see where gas was, and then getting gas. I was in a 3-car convoy, and we finally found a place that had it, and staying all single file. And then when I drove all the way to Augusta, and then they were running out of gas because the storm was heading up that way. So finally. They always joke around that the thing that Floridians worry about the most is losing their air conditioning, like to a hurricane or whatever. And there's a lot of truth to that. It really sucks to have no AC in Florida in the summer. It's pretty brutal. And have no fans either. Hurricanes don't really scare Floridians. I think there's a new set of Floridians that are scared about even small hurricanes, and they shutter up their houses, for even a tropical storm. I've been through enough small scale hurricanes. I mean, it's like category 1s and tropical storms that they're fun. It's when come on, dude. It's when they're can cause bodily injuries when they're not fun, or injury to things you care about. When they down trees and stuff like that, it's not that big of a deal, but when they in that open lane, here we go. Oh, what are you doing? The guy behind me is trying to get around me, and you can see there's only a sidewalk, so either that or he almost tried to run into me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I mean, there's people, when hurricanes come around, people watch that stuff, and there's people who have like live in Florida and they have a YouTube channel. They'll go to like hurricane prep and they'll get millions of views. I don't blame them for doing it. It's when you start mass hysteria, which is panic. That's not good. Yeah, tornadoes are not fun. I can't imagine a tornado being fun. I like tropical storms with like 60-mile-an-hour winds. You get with heavy rain, a little bit of flooding in there. Yeah, if you have a home that was built, especially after 2004, or updated windows after 2004, because most homes here are built to concrete, it's the windows is where they usually get blown out. But if you have storm windows that are built to, they call them Dade County regulations. Now, if you replace a window, you have to put it in. Even around here, they upgraded it. And that happened in 92 because Hurricane Andrew changed it all. Back before that, they didn't care about mobile homes or your window, wind capacities. But I mean, if you look at pictures of Hurricane Andrew, it's absolutely devastating. I mean, there's pictures of like 2x4s being pushed through royals, which is like unheard of. A friend told me he once in his backyard he smelled something terrible. He thought it was a dead body, and he had like a worker that was working for him. He asked him to go like check it out, and ended up like 4 days later, it ended up being like a whole like bushel of Brussels sprouts from like 3 blocks away that apparently rolled all the way into the yard. So when it comes in, hits it. When the University of Miami had a wind gust of 181 miles an hour before the weather station just blew off the roof. That's like 295 kilometers an hour. Well, there really aren't anyone. Isn't anyone watching from? Yeah, they can be wider, but yeah, they're typically that. I think let's wrap around the block here real quick. Talk some last minute. Yeah, I'm sure if you tell people in Houston that, they won't be quite as amused. But depending on where you were, it could have been fun. Yeah, just assuming that you have a dead body in your yard, you don't want to go see it, and the police aren't even around to do anything about it. That was the worst part. The response was like people were just like wandering around for days, not knowing what to do. They couldn't get out of their neighborhoods. Like there was just debris everywhere. But yeah, I remember watching on the Weather Channel. I was like I was 10 years old. I mean, it didn't take a direct hit on downtown Miami, but it took one on it hit Southwest 152nd Street, which is basically put a direct hit on like Ken Johnson's house. Ken told me he was sitting in his house and it sounded like a freight train was coming through his house. The roof blew off the house. He thought he was going to die, and afterwards he left for like Alabama for like 6 weeks, and he had to live in a trailer on site for I don't know how long, for a while. I've never been in a tornado, but I imagine they make a whirring sound, probably like a freight train without the horn. What I would do is I would get a YouTube video of like Hurricane Dorian, or a recent hurricane someone got a direct hit on, turn the volume up and see if it has high quality sound. You can get an idea of what it's like to, handle 125 mile an hour plus winds. That's really where all the damage happens. What's that, guys? There's always people walking their dogs or kids, even this time of night, playing around the street here, so. See, there's the Camry right here, for those of you. We're wondering where that was. It's there. All right. And we are home. I was just about to say that. Dead butt naked next to his bed. That doesn't sound like a way to go out. Wow. Yeah, so guys, yeah, there's nicotine in it. Unfortunately. I'm gonna get going. I have not eaten dinner. But I might get a big coconut. We'll see what happens, but I am going to go and eat some food now, so I will talk to you guys in the near future. Goodbye, everyone. See ya.